Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hypnotic Rambles, episode 6.
Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Today,
And
I think we're
we are talking about beliefs.
so I don't just
Beliefs.
think it, we actually are.
No, we are, yeah.
Okay.
All talk or ramble through it, we'll
Oh,
see.
well, everything's a ramble.
Okay, so what comes to your mind when you hear the word beliefs
Just the thought
straight
you
away?
keep thinking that you've accepted as truth.
And I would add to that also the emotions, the feelings that you feel because of those beliefs.
Absolutely. But now, which came first?
We
Well,
are
that was last week.
back.
Sorry, that was last week. Last week. Okay.
That was last week.
Okay, gotcha.
So why is it important to know or be aware about our belief system, and why do you think, John, that it is important to really check whether it's serving us or not?
Um, Beliefs dictate our life.
Mm.
They dictate what we believe that we can do and will actually achieve and will go for. Um, they believe what we or they dictate what we have in our lives. Um, I tend to like the analogy because we're hypnotists that the likes of YouTube, Facebook, and Google have an algorithm, and that our beliefs form our algorithm. So what we keep looking at, we keep seeing, and what we keep believing, we keep experiencing. Um, if very simply, if I believe I'm a Manchester United fan, which I happen to be for my sins, I'm getting a lot of disappointment. If I was a Liverpool fan, no, Man City fan, which will never, ever, ever happen, I'd be very happy, right, about
Mm.
my football. So it's kind of, and that's a very simple thing, but you know what I'm saying. It's kind
Yeah.
of like our beliefs dictate um, so much about how we experience the world, how much we'll actually go and try and do stuff. Um,
And,
and
and and as you said, it dictates our life. I like the analogy of the wearing a glasses. It's every single, we see the world through our beliefs, right? So if I believe, and it's a very simple example, that the world is or life is not good, then I am wearing those glasses, right? And I am seeing the world through that belief. And because I'm projecting that belief onto the world will or life will bring me back proofs,
yeah,
lots and lots of it. So I can say, you see, this belief is true.
yeah.
Life is
Yeah.
not good.
And I think that's why it's important because if we hold on to certain beliefs and we keep getting the same outcomes, then maybe those beliefs don't serve us anymore.
Mm,
I mean, we know as hypnotists that if somebody has a certain belief, that's what we're trying to do to change them when they come in because they want to change that belief. It's got them to a point where it just doesn't work for them anymore, and they've realized they've had enough and they want to change it. Um, and I think that affects all of us each and every day about the way we think and the way we feel and the way we act. And more importantly, what we'll actually allow into our lives. Um,
yeah.
that we won't go for certain things because we don't feel that we're worthy enough of it, or for various reasons. We might just like it. We may have a different set of goggles on,
Yeah.
and we don't want to experience certain things, and that's fine. But if we're holding on to beliefs that limit us, which so many people are, then that means we don't experience life.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's really, really important to question it. Even what we say, question whether you believe it or
Absolutely.
not. Is it true for you or is it not true for you?
Only our opinion,
Uh,
right?
yeah, exactly. Everything is our own opinion,
I forgot to say
opinion
that.
based on our own experiences, again, in our life
Yeah,
as well as our clients. So,
absolutely.
but that doesn't mean we cannot, it's not changeable, because even when it comes to our professional life, we are always evolving, we are always learning more, and we can easily change a belief about anything, really. So I would like to mention here core beliefs, which one of them is the I am not good enough. I think that's a very, very deeply rooted core belief which can affect many, many parts, if not all the parts of our lives. What do you think of that, John?
Many people have that belief for whatever reason, but I think it's probably important to look at where beliefs actually come from in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, and the whole logical levels model, which I really, really like, kind of explains it really well. That our environment and then the environment that we're in, we dictate our behaviors based on that environment.
Mm.
And we act in certain ways and do certain things. And that behavior, when we do them enough, creates the beliefs that we have about ourselves, the experiences that we've had, which ultimately becomes, and you just made that statement, the identity statement, values are next and then identity comes after that. But it's kind of like, I'm not good enough based on all the past experiences, the behaviors I've had, the beliefs I've got from it have led me to believe that I'm not good enough in some shape or form. But it does come from the experiences that we've had. Ultimately, that's where it all comes back to. So it is definitely the areas. It gives you an interesting thing as a hypnotherapist in terms of where do you start? Because if you try and change a belief, but the identity is something different, um, you're immediately struggling.
Yes,
Really,
but I think that's why it's good to look at. So if my suggestion, and again, this is just my own opinion or recommendation, is to look for every part of your life. Okay, where am I at? Let's say financially, career-wise, relationship, fitness, health. Everybody has we call it the wheel of life, but everybody has different add to it because what's important to us the most, right? And let's talk about finances, right? Financial life, financial part of our life, because I think that's spot on with everyone. I think that's an important part. And if I am not where I would like to be, then I can start checking what am I believing about money, about work, about career, success, my capabilities, abilities, and then just break it down as to what do I believe, and then when we made a list of all the beliefs that I believe about those things, how do I see myself with that belief? What are the identity statements, as in I am not successful, right? Because that's an identity as well as a belief. And I think with that, you can connect the two, would you say?
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. Of course you can. There's two things in that because our model of the world, if you were to just take finances as a stance, and the normal general acceptance would be you just work harder. You get more money in and you just work harder. That's what most people will go, I need more money, so therefore I'll do that. If you hold a set of beliefs that, like I was told when I was a child, money doesn't grow on trees.
Oh, yes.
I think a lot of people will have heard that, or versions of it, whatever they may be. But so money is a scarce resource, effectively. And if that is the belief, then you'll be working very hard to get more and more money. What I suppose what I really love as a hypnotherapist is that, when you begin to understand the power of the mind and you start to apply some of those principles, if you believe that money is short, going back to what we said at the very start, your mind will keep showing you that money is scarce, money is
Because you're
short.
wearing the
Yeah,
glasses.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how it's how you change those glasses to allow that there not to be a feeling of scarcity, not to be a feeling of not deserving, or whatever that belief, that core belief that you're talking about is. Um, and it is peeling that back because we know, you know, athletes, they use self-hypnosis when they look at visualization and try and achieve outcomes. You know, like we know that it works. Because you actually achieve outcomes because your attention is drawn towards certain things.
Mm.
Um, and you see more potential and more possibilities when you change the glasses that you wear. So getting to the getting to firstly identify what the belief
Yeah.
is probably the first step.
Yeah.
And nine times out of 10, you'll know because you're not getting the results that you wanted.
Yeah. Just check your results. How is your reality?
Yeah,
How is your life?
yeah,
And then
absolutely. You
break it
know,
down from there.
yeah, and you gave that great example of the wheel of life because if you were to take, um, you know, somebody who believes that money's scarce, but yet needs a lot of it or wants a lot of it, and works, pushes, then that affects the balance in the rest of their lives. You
Mm.
know, and over time will affect their health as well. So beliefs can, if we can get them in balance, I suppose is the right word. But if we can get them optimized even for what's the
Mm.
best outcome for our life, so that we're not spending all the hours of the day working and you know still have time for all the other aspects of life and yet still achieve the financial results that we want. It's about finding the beliefs that work for those.
Yeah.
Changing the ones we have or checking, but finding out the ones we have. And if they don't work, let's figure out how we change them.
Yeah. And I think yes, that we have so many generalized as well as global beliefs, but what is it that I am, the specific belief that I believe about that thing? Does that make
Yeah,
sense? So, for
yeah.
example, where I'm coming from, you have to work hard for money. That was always a conditioning, right? So, this is going to be sounding very funny, but back home, there are still some people who thinks I don't work. I don't have a job because I don't do anything as in physical working hard for money. So what I do is just maybe just a side hobby, if you like, not even a main hobby, which, at first it was like, I didn't really like it, but then now I'm just laughing on it because it's about their conditioning, isn't it? That, what you're doing is not work. So we just make, a fun, it's a funny way of looking at it now. We just joke about it, but yeah, and this just shows how deeply you can be conditioned.
And I was just going to say, what was the initial effect on that on you?
The first one,
Mm.
um, well, I didn't take it well because I was offended that this is not a job, right? That what I do, what you do. Um, but then I went down to, I looked at it closely, and then I realized that it's the validation from them, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they think that it's not a job, then is it really a job? Am I really working? So I had to look at that. Yes, I used to have that conditioning. I don't have that anymore. I don't have the belief, but there were still some aspects of being accepted, if you like, as in a working woman. And again, there are so many beliefs in that too. Just that small fraction of
But
it.
let's just take that just for a millisecond, just to forget
Okay.
it. Um, so that view that would have come from your society, how did that affect your behavior?
And the family. Um, how did that affect? Well, it was hard for me when I started this business years and years ago. It was really difficult for me to see it as a financial as an income.
Mm,
I saw it as something that I really love doing. I looked at it in a way that I can help people. I loved it, but I was really resistant to look at it as a business.
right.
Um, and that's how it showed up when I still had that or those beliefs.
Yeah. And I mean, that's interesting. That's an example of how your environment changes your behaviors, which then actually affects the beliefs that you had about your business.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because it could have to, I mean, for many people, and yours was one example, people may go, well, I just won't do that because my society doesn't, the belief is that the societal expectation is so great. So I'm not going to do it. Other people may go, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm just going to make it work. Yeah. So even within those steps, there's all kinds of choices, but the choices come from where we're looking at it from, what our
Yeah.
beliefs about ourselves are.
And I think those choices are also coming from the core beliefs that we have,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Um, because, one can be motivated by not feeling good enough, and another person can be absolutely just not doing anything, not trying, if you like, because they don't feel good enough. Um, and checking the kind of core way we look at the not feeling or being good enough, where is it coming from? Because for both, it's coming from a completely different place.
Yeah,
Um, um, and it's still the same belief, but we act on it differently, if you like.
correct. It's the motivational factor that drives people. I mean, that was one of the things when I was doing the adoption training over the weekend was, you know, in a lot of cases, no, rejection will help people to prove, they just want to prove that they're good enough.
Mm.
I'm going to show them.
Yeah, yeah,
But for others, exactly as you just said, it means they won't even make an effort.
yeah. And it's not because they don't want to, but because they believe
They don't
that
believe
they
they can.
they wouldn't succeed anyway.
They absolutely
Um,
don't.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So it's really good to look at your results in your life, and are those results, are the outcomes that you have in your life, are they what you want them to be? If not, then check what is it that it's stopping the outcome or result to be the
yeah,
one that you want it to be.
absolutely. And I mean,
I
that's
just
all.
rambled that through. I hope I made sense.
That made absolutely sense. If you're not getting the results you want, have a look at what you believe. Have a look about what you're doing and what you believe about yourself. That's playing its part in that.
And then,
And that's absolutely so important.
yeah,
Um, because if you don't believe you're good enough, your confidence will be low. And, when you're in business, you're obviously going to need to be confident. That's what people are buying. People really buy people when we're talking about service relationships and particularly even products. It's a bit like you're buying a service, you're buying someone you trust, someone who'll deliver,
mm,
someone, so it's about that confidence part that goes behind it. Because that's actually the real key.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you have to believe that you can do it first. And you
I'd
have to
like
believe that you do it.
I'd like to mention here a way of uncovering another way of uncovering those beliefs
Mm,
is to model other people. So let's imagine that financially, let's stay with that, and then I'm going to give you another example. So financially, this is where I want to get to, but I'm not there yet, right? Do I know anyone personally, or just look up to a person that is there? What do they believe about money, about work, about ability to succeed, about success, and then just see if we actually believe the opposite. How does that resonate with us? And a really, really great way, and that's why I said I'm going to bring up something. It's when if we move this to weight loss.
mm,
So it's really, really powerful to model a naturally thin person. What do they believe about food? What do they believe about gaining or losing weight, or body image or self-image, or weight in general? So all the aspects of it, because I can promise you, a naturally slim person doesn't believe that food can make them fat, and that is the truth. I have modeled so many, not just modeled them, but interviewed so many naturally slim people, and not one of them said that they believe that food can make them. They look at food just as fuel. There's no attachment to it. So they don't look at, oh my God, this, if I'm going to eat this piece of cake, it's going to make me grow, right? It's just cake for them. And it's quite fascinating to model people. So if what I want to achieve, do I know anyone who's already achieved that? And then just modeling them and get to our limiting beliefs through that.
And of course, you've just raised a really interesting point there because those people will go against the common view, which is actually
Absolutely.
felt by media and advertising every time you turn. Slim this, slim that, slim the other. And if you eat this, you put on weight. If all that. So they're just commonly held beliefs. Um, and, the environment, our culture, if you like, creates those beliefs. So those people are going against the grain. And it's then really the question is, absolutely, you're modeling them. What's the expression? You're faking it until you're making it, basically. Until, but it's how do you make those changes and how do you make those changes the quickest way possible so you get the best outcomes that you can.
I think first comes the awareness, always. And I think awareness on its own can actually shift a belief. Not
Mm-hmm.
always, that's not always the case. It really depends on how deeply embedded that belief is and where it's coming from. But awareness is key here. I think that's the very first step in uncovering what is it. Because if I don't know what belief is holding me back, or I don't even know that beliefs can play a part, massive part, then I don't know it. So I can't actually change. I can't do anything about it. But beliefs are, if I believe in something, I do feel a certain way that is in alignment with that belief, and that will move me into action according to that belief and how I feel. But if I don't know it, this is all just an unconscious cycle, then I don't even know that it's an issue, as in.
So now we're into a chicken and egg, because which comes first?
It doesn't matter which comes first. I think it's to become aware, and again, that's just my personal. Please add yours, because many, just for the audience, you need to know that we don't always agree
No,
with John,
she's
and
always
that's,
right and I'm not.
well, I'm always right, but yeah, we don't always agree. I say, look at your results, look at your life right now, every part. Is it where you want it to be? If any part is not, what is holding you back? What do you believe about that particular part?
Um,
Now you can add yours.
Thanks very much. Sorry, I just got distracted for a minute. What I wanted to talk about was actually in relation to that, but it's desire. So where does that awareness come from? Where does that wish to change come from? It comes from wanting something else.
Yeah.
Right. So, because that desire is key for, I suppose, is key for change. Um, because you're not even going to become aware of something if you don't have a desire to know something different. Otherwise, you'll just take it as normal. I know a few people who are colorblind, right?
Okay.
So, like you might say, how do they live without color? But they've never
They
known anything different,
they don't know any
right?
difference. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
if you are just as you are and you have your set of beliefs, you need contrast to change it. You need to be able to see something different and then want for that to be for you,
Mm.
or even wonder. And then, but then to actually make that change, you need the desire to change. That needs to be the fuel that allows you to push that change,
Mm.
to make that change. So I think desire and awareness go hand in hand. And desire, or contrast at least, creates the awareness. And then you need the desire to change. You need to want that change. And then that's where you may run into conflict with your beliefs. And not just one
You got
particular
very
belief.
careful there.
Well, yeah. Making sure I thought that through. But because it may just be more than one belief. There may be a number of beliefs that are at play.
Oh yeah, it's never just
Um,
one, I think.
yeah, it's never just one. So it's I think, what's that expression? Something must change, it must be now, it must be me. I think is the way Mike Mandel would put it, when something is ready for change. Um, but it's the contrast creates the awareness, the desire, even to notice that something's different. You then create the awareness of, well, what is it that I actually believe? Why is it I'm not getting that? Not many people will look at what it is that they believe and then they become frustrated because they haven't dealt with that core belief that's behind it or that core issue that's stopping it. And then how do you change it? You need that desire and that and then you've two choices to change. You can use the willpower method and just force it, fake it till you make it, keep pushing, pushing, pushing,
And hoping for the best.
and hoping for the
Sorry,
best.
but
And you may well get there. Or the other alternative is that you can realize that beliefs are in your unconscious mind, and that when you tap into the unconscious mind and begin to make those changes in the unconscious mind and replace that belief, that the change is much easier. There is no willpower battle.
exactly, and magic happens. It's just
Yeah.
everything changes so
What changes is
beautifully.
you change your glasses.
Yeah, it's when you get to the unconscious and get to those
Yeah,
beliefs where they are coming from, and you change them. That's when you change your glasses, and then you see the world completely differently. And
absolutely.
it's a magical journey, for sure. I have changed so many beliefs, and oh, I would not go back to where I was before, because it's just amazing. It's an amazing way to be open to see the world.
Well, the other side of it is if you think about it, so many of our beliefs are formed, and I'm not even talking about saying the 0 to 7 range, but so many of our beliefs are formed in the past.
Yeah,
But life continues to happen.
and
So,
evolve.
and evolve. So, is it not okay for our beliefs to evolve and for us to be open enough to evolve our beliefs? It should be. Well, at least that's my view.
Yeah,
Not
and
me,
that's mine too.
I kind of live by no regrets as much as I can because, there were times in my life when there were regrets and I can never take them back. Don't always get the outcome I wanted, but hey, at least I know I'm not going to be sitting there wondering what if I had tried that? You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's just an attitude. That's a pair of glasses that I look at the world through.
yeah, yeah. I agree, and I always say to everyone, there's always room for improvement.
Well, here's a very simple one. What if you and I didn't have that conversation in London in November 2022 and there would not be an airship therapy conference today?
That's very true. That's
I mean,
very
that's where it
true.
all, that's literally that very first conversation.
Mm, mm.
So like it is about being able to look and go, what if? But it's that contrast, it's that awareness. We were in that environment where we were in the London conference, and it was like, okay, so there was the contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we bring this to a close, because we have to now, we're rambling for a very long time, but I
I
think it's
told you
a
she was
very
going to.
important subject anyway. It's something really important for people to be aware of. If you have decided that, okay, I'm going to check my beliefs, and but then the fear comes up, because if you change a belief, you will change, right? You will change many things in your life, or many things will change as a result. Then you
Mhm.
can always look at it in a way that I can always change it back. So and then it's coming from what if? What if I just had a look and just try, we don't like the word try, but just give a go to this new belief, or see the world a little bit differently. And if I don't like it, if it doesn't work, then I can always go back to my old ways. And I think that takes the pressure off, and then just weakens that fear when it comes to change ourselves or
Yeah, I
anything in
mean,
our life.
when we change beliefs, we change our life. It's pretty much that simple. Um, Sometimes in big ways, sometimes in small ways. Um, and sometimes that can affect the people that are around us. And that's probably the hardest change. I think we've said it before. you know, human beings, just the one thing that we don't really like is change, but yet change is the only constant.
Mm,
We just like the change we can control. But we
so
can't
true.
control all the change. Um, and the other thing, and I suppose I'm mirroring Tony Robbins in this, but you know, as human beings, if you wanted a scale of, you know, our beliefs worth holding on to, if you look at it on the pain versus pleasure threshold, you know, is that belief actually holding you back? Is it hurting you? Is it affecting your life?
Does it serve
Um,
you?
well, basically, yes.
Very simple. Does it serve you or does it not? Is it like actually making your life
Yeah,
miserable, if you like?
absolutely,
Or yeah,
absolutely. There's
I
a
think
lot
we
in
need,
it.
yeah, a lot, and we can still talk a lot about it, but maybe we'll leave that for another time because we
That's
need to
for
bring
a
this to a close now.
separate ramble. Um, so there will be beliefs part two.
I'm 100% sure of
I don't
that.
know when, I don't know
Abs-
where, but it'll be there.
oh, very soon, very soon.
And I'm sure we'll reference back to this particular meandering path that we've just taken.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, I'd like to say bye to everyone. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Again, feel free to give us feedback, comments, and ask questions so we can answer them. We like to answer questions.
There you go. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have an amazing day, week, life.
Don't say month because we are back in a week.
I just said life.
I know, but you nearly said it there. So have a
I
magical
know.
day, everyone. Bye for now.